Good afternoon. So I thought I'd send more of an educational video because that's kind of what I needed. I'm received my official diagnosis of breast cancer on Friday, but I already knew that, and I received or saw the pathology report, and it's kind of all this language that doesn't make tons of sense to me. I mean, it does and it doesn't. And because I'm in the process of kind of transitioning my regular insurance over to Cobra, I can't really talk to any physicians yet. I can't talk to any surgeons yet, so I have to wait a couple of days until my insurance is kind of, figured out. And so in the meantime, I am not going crazy, but just needed to educate myself on what it is I'm reading. And so I have put just a couple of pictures. I'm just using my art that also helps me relax, to just get a sense of what is actually in the breast and kind of what's happening with my body. Because I feel like it's a journey now. I have it, it's not going away by itself, so I might as well educate myself on what's happening. So, in terms of it's called the mammary gland, like, it's the breast, but it's basically looking at the mammary gland. And I just wanted to understand where everything was, and kind of when they're talking about ducts and lobes, what is the relationship to those things? And so, the ducts are kind of what lead into the nipple, and then you have the larger glandular lobes kind of further back, and then it's filled with a lot of fat. And it kind of, the breast, of course, is in front of, the ribs and the lungs. And then there's some muscles in there as well. And so that helped to just understand where things were, just in terms of my mass. And then I wanted to understand, okay, I kind of have a sense of everyone's been talking about things moving into the area under your arms, and I was just kind of saying, well, how does that actually happen? And kind of really wanting to understand, when things move in that direction, folks, it gets really scary. And so it also talks a little bit about how, cancer cells can also move into the blood system. And I was like, well, where's the blood system within, how is that connected within the lobes and where my tumor is and things like that. And so I got a sense of kind of where that is, and how the blood vessels are kind of wrapped around, connecting back into the back of the muscle, but then it's wrapped around the ducts and the lobules, right? And so that was helpful, to kind of gain a sense of where things were. And then I wanted to understand, what it means to have, just a mass, but then have something that's invasive. I have something called invasive carcinoma. Basically, it's broken through the cells. I didn't really understand what that was. And so I went back and looked at what happens to cells that kind of break through and become cancerous, right? And there's kind of an understanding that basically cancer cells kind of go off on their own and start doing their own thing. And so that was really helpful for me to understand that as well. And then lately I've been having kind of pain, kind of like pulling and sensation kind of around the nipple area and the breast, and kind of going up my arm. And I needed to really understand, how are the nerves kind of innervated within the system. And so that's this, I drew a picture of all of the innervations of the breast or the mammary gland, and I was just like, oh, okay, now I get it, right? Now I get it. Now I'm not so freaked out. I kind of understand why I'm having pulling, right, sensations, and why it's going up my arm and kind of, down my arm, and how that's actually happening, and what that means, and where are all the different pieces. So this just this helps with the fear, and because I'm pretty upbeat for the most part. Every once in a while something will hit me and I'll get a little scared, and usually it happens between like 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. when no one's around, and I'm kind of, you know, sitting in bed on my own. So anyways, so I'm still at the very beginning of this stage. I'm just kind of getting tons of support. So I'm doing tons of meetings still and talking to folks. I've booked a retreat in December. I'm going to my first in-person support group tonight. I've been doing my Taekwondo. I'm actually going to test for my red belt on Saturday. I decided I wanted to test before I had surgery, just in case it's going to take a bit of time for recovery. And so just kind of moving along and having moments. And sometimes I don't want to do anything, you know, I just want to sit. And so I try not to stay in that space too long. But anyways, just wanted to thank you again that I'm on the journey. Still on the journey, of course, the very beginning portions, and things are okay. Oh, and if you're still, and I've been receiving cards, so if you haven't sent your cards yet, send them on. I love them. I love looking at them in the morning. So see you later.